Hey guys, Sean from the Bingezone here, bringing you guys another breakdown of Black Mirror Season 4. Today we're talking about the episode Arkangel. This episode is the story of helicopter parenting gone too far. We've been seeing a rise in this phenomenon, especially with the rise of the internet as of late and the need to filter content at an all-time high aimed towards children. After nearly losing her daughter twice within the first few minutes of the show, once at birth and one time when she's a toddler, Marie opts to join the Arkangel program in lieu of losing her daughter for real next time. The Arkangel system is the perfect system for helicopter parents. It's a microchip implanted in the brain of the child which gives the parent the ability to track the child's physical whereabouts, monitor their chemical levels, could give them a rise or whatever parents deem is too much for the child to handle. Human growth and development dictates that whatever doesn't kill us makes us stronger physically, mentally, and emotionally. By suppressing and filtering the content that Sarah sees, Marie drives her to be alienated by her peers as she is not well versed in the ways of the world and how it works. Not just the alienation, but staggers Sarah's cognitive development as well as her emotional development. She's even censored to the point where her grandfather has a heart attack right in front of her and Sarah can't see what's going on because the sensors automatically kick in and she can't distinguish her grandfather from a blur in her vision. Sarah eventually attempts self-mutilation, which doesn't really affect her because she can't see what she's doing to herself. She can't even grasp the concept of what is happening to her because she can't see or hear any of the mutilation. Halfway through the episode, Marie seeks guidance of a psychologist, which gives her the same information her father gave to her, which is let Sarah grow up without the Arkangel system, develop like a regular child. The downside to the Arkangel is the fact that you can't turn it off. The best Marie can do is turn off the tablet and let Sarah grow without actually helicopter parenting her. Sarah, for a good chunk of her childhood, has been blinded by the system that shielded her from the outside world. And when she experienced outside for the first time, all those things she experienced but didn't perceive overwhelmed her until she eventually gets used to it. This is very similar to General Zod in Man of Steel when he removes his helmet for the first time and experiences all the sensations that the Earth's power has given him. It's quite overwhelming and it's a sensory overload because it's something that he's not used to, just like Sarah isn't used to the world as is. Marie complies with the removal of the Arkangel. However, as we can see, the damage has already been done. A child's most formative years are the childhood and early childhood development stages. By the time the Arkangel system is no longer filtering Sarah, she is behind on development. She tries to play catch up, and now with no parental control, so to speak, she sees the worst of the internet. Pornography, violence, terrorist actions, everything you don't want your kid to see. That's what Sarah's experiencing with the Arkangel system because she's so behind. She doesn't know right from wrong. She doesn't know what content to filter and what content not to filter. All of these things are a few clicks away from any child's fingertips. The way technology is at now, which shows us the audience that while total parental control can be damaging, we need to have some parental control because all the content has to be filtered. For the most extreme of it all can be just as damaging as total helicopter parenthood. Years go by and Sarah's not a teenager. When another scare prompts Marie to activate the Arkangel again, now she is peering into the life of a teenager and Sarah is now lying, sneaking off, dating boys, doing all things that teenagers do at her age, which is healthy. The show Black Mirror is about screens and reflection of our darkest selves in the parts of us that we don't want to see. Now, this episode's Black Mirror is the Arkangel system that shows not only Sarah's undesirable self-image to her mother, reflected on the electronic pad, but the undesirable self-image of the outside world that Marie is trying to protect Sarah from, which continues to be Marie's justification for continuous use of the system. One example is Trick, whom has been a bad influence on Sarah from an early age by showing her pornography and later in life by giving her drugs. Marie then takes matters into her own hand like a true helicopter parent, going out to confront Trick about his drug use and his usage of her daughter's body. She threatens Trick into breaking up with Sarah, never contacting Sarah again, which he complies with. She then puts birth control in Sarah's food, which causes her to get sick and leads Sarah to figuring out that her mother has been spying on her. This leads to an explosive and violent clash between Sarah and Marie. She snaps and begins to violently beat Marie due to her Arkangel system. Sarah is filtered and censored to the violence and damage that she's caused to her mother, to the point where she nearly kills Marie, but she is censored so she can't see or hear the damage she's causing to her mother visually, which is Marie's own helicopter parenting, the Arkangel system coming back and being used against her as Sarah is now desensitized to the amount of violence that she's causing to her parents, the amount of violence and damage she's causing to her mom. Once Sarah realizes what she has done, which is a product of her mother's tampering, when Marie regains consciousness, her tablet which she monitors Sarah with is destroyed and her daughter has left her. This episode begins with Marie afraid of losing Sarah and the episode ends with Marie losing Sarah, as the steps that she's taking to ensure that she doesn't lose Sarah are the exact same steps that actually push her daughter away. The irony in this episode is the Arkangel system was supposed to help Marie not lose her daughter, is essentially the reason why she loses her in the end, making her fears come true. Helicopter parenting not only alienates the child from society, it also alienates the child from their parents, having the child build up a sort of resentment towards their parent, as though the parent who wants the best for their daughters or sons why they're helicopter parenting, doesn't trust the child, and the child grows a resentment. So the very thing that this whole thing, that's why it's called helicopter parenting. The fact that the whole thing goes full circle like a propeller and you hover over your child. Arkangel is a play on words of Archangel, spelled differently. And the Archangel, which is the ultimate tier of angelic ranking, which belongs to the first few angels created by God himself, and they are the ultimate protectors of mankind from the forces of evil. Just as Marie tries to be the ultimate protector from the forces of evil, and just as the archangels failed to stop Lucifer's rebellion, Marie fails to stop Sarah's rebellion from her. So I'll pass this question on to you guys. In a world where information and content is at the moment's fingertips, is the Arkangel system something that's viable? Could it be used? Could freedoms be sacrificed in order to protect people from harm? That is a question that's been hotly contested. Even on YouTube, where content is readily available for kids, we have kids sections and adult sections. There was a recent debacle on YouTube called Elsagate, in which people were targeting negative and extreme content towards children in order to boost their views, and targeting kids specifically with violent, crazy, outrageous things on YouTube aimed at children without some parental controls to watch and guide children and censor some of this extreme content. Who knows what they would see? But at the same time, there can be a level of extreme one-sidedness to this. The Arkangel system is the vast extreme. Black Mirror is always about how technology can go on to the extreme. The Black Mirror, so to speak, the black screen that we stare into to see the darker sides of ourselves or our children. In this episode, it's the tablet, which is a device used by children today to watch YouTube videos all day long. I have a nephew who watches YouTube on his tablet for hours on end. And if we don't, even with the filters that YouTube has, there's still content that trickles in that we have to throw and give an eye out to the program that he's watching to make sure that he's not seeing content he's not supposed to. So in a sense, the Arkangel system itself is kind of useful, but it's an extreme usefulness. And helicopter parenting is detrimental to children's development, but at the same time, leaving them to watch all sorts of extreme content is also detrimental to their overall development. So this episode gives a cautionary tale of two extremes, but in a very Black Mirror way, doesn't give an alternative. What is the middle ground? I pass the question on to you guys. What is the safe middle ground in which we can watch and parental controls kids, while at the same time giving them enough space to blossom and develop into their own human beings, to make their own mistakes? As we see in this episode, Sarah and Marie had a great relationship, but at the same time, Marie went to two different extremes. She was either all over Sarah with the Archangel, or she was too lax, and Sarah got into all sorts of things like drugs and sex and all that at the age of 15. So what is the middle ground that Marie should have taken? The Archangel system is too extreme, but being too lax is too much. What is the middle ground? That's what I asked you guys. Anyway, guys, that's been my thoughts and explanation and breakdown of the Black Mirror episode Arkangel. If you liked the video, definitely hit a thumbs up. Check out my breakdown of USS Callister and be on the lookout for more breakdowns of the rest of season 4 of Black Mirror. Until next time, guys, binge on.